Turn the clock to zero, buddy. Don't wanna be no funny duddy. We're starting off a brand new day. Yes, rise and shine, wild ones. It's Bernadette. I am here with your Pick a Card Daily Tarot reading for Saturday, November 21st, 2020. And I'm singing me some Sting because he's one of the hottest men in the world. That's number one. But number two, was there ever a song that fit a tarot card better than Sting's Brand New Day for The Fool, the 0 point, the Puffin? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We're starting off a brand new day. And that's today. And we're starting off brand new points in your life. And you're going to get with the program. And you're going to even do the pose like the little Puffin is doing. Wait, I got to do it like that. And then I'll match Puffin. And we're going to do that. And we're going to take a leap off the edge. And we're going to have faith. Not blind faith. We're not going to be stupid about it. But we are going to have faith that this new leap we're going to take is going to work out, and it's going to be fabulous, and so before I even get it on to the tarot card meanings and the spirit animal meanings and the omens and the messages and the whole 9 yards, I am using this day to issue you a challenge, and I'm issuing it to myself, and here's why. Y'all, I'm grateful everybody's got the same problem, but honestly, and this is my best Icelandic, Puffin's over 60% of them live in Iceland. And so this is my best Icelandic gear, my Eskimo Nanik of the North gear. It's all I got, y'all. I live in Florida. It's like 9,000 degrees here most of the time. Although I think it did crack 40 last night. Woo! But anyway, so I'm glad everybody has the same problems. Quite frankly, it's how I make part of my living is that people can't make a decision. And me neither. And so, I have a psychic friend that I go to, and I have a tarot reader, and I have a numerology, and I got the tribe, I got the council people. They're my council, right? And so, we want to do things. We want to start fresh and new, but we get to a certain place, and we don't know how to ratchet it back, dial it back to the 0 point, and start again. We just carry too much baggage, never make it to the finish line. But today we're going to talk about that. Because that's the card of the day, and that's what we do here in my office, and me and all my spirit animals. So, Saturdays are the get things done day. I would say that today, maybe the biggest thing for you to get done is identify what new things that you have wanted to start always. What new journey you want to embark on, because in the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, the Fool is the beginning of the hero's journey. It's where, the hero embarks and he strikes out, or she strikes out, and that's it. Your journey begins, your quest. It really is a quest. You step out into the world. It's an act of unconditional faith. But again, the faith is not blind. So again, here's what I'm going to issue you guys as a challenge. Sorry, I got a cat hair on my nose. Imagine that, 5 cats. So this is the, I'm so good at video, can you tell? So this is the flute bag for the Native American flute that I bought 2 years ago when I was in Sedona. Little known fact about Bernadette, I am mesmerized, and since I was a kid, the first time I heard any Native American flute music, it put me in a trance. I know many lifetimes I've spent with music like this, probably in particular, I don't know how many lifetimes, in the Native American culture, but at least one very profound one, because it's my favorite kind of music. So my good friend and I were tootling through Sedona, and they have all kind of Native American markets out there. And there was this market that popped up, like I'm telling y'all, in the middle of no dang where. We'd already been traveling like 35 minutes and nothing on either side. Poof, there's a little sign, Native American market. I'm like, we have to stop. So Yon and we stop, and I tell the story in the turkey video, the coronavirus video, because the spirit animal did come to me for the coronavirus. It was the turkey. It was the most amazing thing ever. And so this charming Native American fellow was there selling the flutes. Of course, this guy could play like we all would love to play them. And of course, they had a bear flute. Okay, my enduring love of bears, my spirit totem power animal, Mr. Bear or Miss Bear. And from that perspective, it kind of looks like a rat, but it really isn't. It's a bear. So I'm mesmerized by this guy playing, and he tells me this amazing story about Turkey and how Turkey saved the world, and then Turkey showed up for the coronavirus 2 years later. It's just crazy. And for 2 years, y'all, I've been sitting on this flute. I take it out every now and then, and I played clarinet in high school. It's not like I don't know how to read music or can't do it, but I just have such a reverence for this music, and it's really, it's more from the heart. And then I started reading about Indian flutes and all the different kinds there are, and then I was like, that was it. I just went into complete. I was paralyzed. I just couldn't move forward, but it was emotional, not like I don't make time for it or whatever. But I am making the pledge to you, and I'm going to keep you. I'm going to hold myself accountable, and you guys are going to hold you wild ones are going to hold me accountable. I am hiring a coach to teach me how to play the Indian flute, the Native American Indian flute. And the guys, hopefully we can get it together. His name is Johnny Hernandez. You can find him on Facebook. Y'all, this old boy, he's one of my friends on Facebook. If you find me on Facebook, you can find him in my friends list. I don't do all that privacy junk and keep it all private, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. So he is the most amazing flute player. And then there's a flute shop in Seattle that I just came in contact with. And I think they do private lessons as well. And that's how I function best, is if I have a teacher there. So I'm going to hold myself accountable, but that's it. I am starting off a brand new day because Sting is Sting. And that song is, he's Sting. And I'm a Scorpio, Sting. And he talks about starting off a brand new day and setting the clock to 0 and the whole 9 yards. Is just the most perfect card for today. But I want you to think about something you've wanted to start and you've just been putting off out of fear, out of laziness, out of whatever. And that's it. It's a brand new day. You're the fool. You're going to take a leap off that edge and you're going to do it. And all the wild ones, we're going to hold each other accountable. Every now and again, we're going to check in. I'll play Mary Had a Little I'll play Mary Had a Little Lamb for you guys, or Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, on my Native American flute as we go along. And eventually, I hope to be, I wouldn't say an accomplished player, but and if you guys can't see what I'm doing, I love the feel of this thing. So when I get it out, I'm just like, oh God, I'd probably sleep with the thing if I could, if I didn't think I'd crack it. But it's got to be something that really strikes you in your heart like that, whatever it is you're going to strike. Because remember, this card, the Fool Tarot card meanings, its symbolism, its omens, it's about unconditional faith. And you can't possibly have unconditional faith. Even if you know that you're going to take risks, even if you know that you're starting on a quest, you can't do that unless it springs from your heart. So let's just jump in. Think of your challenge, put it in the comments below. I'd love to see and hear what you guys are doing. That'd be so cool. And whatever it is, whatever quirky, kooky, amazing, whatever, just figure it out and do it, right? So if you take a look at the traditional card, the white sun against the yellow sky says what's happening is occurring at your highest levels of spiritual experience. So that makes a lot of sense when I consider that, for me, white girl of Jewish descent. Now, I grew up in Ocala, Florida, and there's a tremendous Native American culture there, and I grew up around all that, loving it from the very beginning. I still think that it harkens back to another lifetime, a past life. And I think that's why it's so deeply spiritual for me. So as you move ahead on this day or considering these new things that you're starting, just consider what feels deeply spiritual to you, and that's going to be it. And understand that the Fool is going to propel you to leap into unknown, experiences, and then you're going to learn these lessons. And if you look at the full context of the tarot card, you're going to step into the next great mystery. Let's say that again. You're going to step into the next great mystery. It's the natural result of everything that's been leading you up to this point. Now, you're inexperienced, okay, but that shouldn't scare you, because it's not like you're inexperienced. Whatever new thing this is, you might be inexperienced in this, but remember, it's a natural result of everything that's been leading you up to this point. Now, of course you're ignorant. Ignorance is not terrible, and it just means you don't know yet. And that doesn't render you powerless, it renders you powerful. It's just that the knowledge you have currently can't help you move to the next level. When you take the leap off that ledge, you're leaping into a giant vat of learning and experience. My gosh, how exciting is that? Go, go, go. Now, remember that if you take a look, the Fool is carrying the symbols of power and knowledge, the staff and the pouch over his shoulder. And he doesn't need them right now because you can't know what you don't know. Likewise, I mean, you can't know what you don't know. When somebody asks me, do you have any other questions? Like if I'm buying something or I'm going to do a business deal, I'm like, well, what questions haven't I asked that based on your expert knowledge or experience should I be asking? And then I just sit there. And that's how I can always tell a snake oil salesman from a really good person who wants me to have the best product for me possible, because they'll tell me, I don't know anything about washers and dryers, but when I went to buy a washer dryer, I went and found somebody. I read everything I wanted to read online, but I wanted someone who had the practical experience. So I went and asked this old boy down at the local Best Buy, and he had been an independent GE guy for a lot of years here in Gainesville, Florida. And he said, well, ma'am, and he told me, and man, let me tell you something. He got me a great deal, and I got, if y'all need laundry done, come on over. We'll do laundry, and we'll sit by my fire pit, and we'll have some frangelica or some wine or something. It'll be fun. So, because my washer dryer is the Shiznet. Now, if you take a look at the dog at the Fool's Heel, that's complete mastery over your natural instincts. And the dog is actually urging the fool to step off that precipice, which really represents the limit of human experience, and suggests that taking this step is a natural instinct. And I do believe that. I don't believe we're meant to stagnate. Remember, movement is life. And if we keep moving ahead, keep moving up, keep moving ahead, keep moving up, and moving up doesn't necessarily mean against the corporate ladder or other people's expectations. It's moving up in knowledge, it's moving up in wisdom, it's moving up in experience. And then maybe one day you won't have to come back. You won't have to come back to this reality again. You won't have to incarnate here to learn any more lessons. You'll already be ascended. Write me a letter. It'll take me a lot longer than it'll take you, I'm sure, because you wild ones are way ahead of me. Now, if you take a look at the mountains, how they fade from dark blue to white. Again, it's a very deeply spiritual journey. You start down at the dark blue or maybe the mid blue, and you're ascending to the divine, to that white. And the mountains, remember, I always tell you guys, mountains are like a pyramid. They're bringing all of the power up from the bottom and putting it out through that apex at the top. And it's very, very potent, very powerful energy. But that also will tell you that in this moment where you are now, the mountains are about higher learning. They're about ascension. You don't know what you're going to know tomorrow or the next day. But if you do what's called deliberate practice, which it's a term they use in sports, instead of just running willy-nilly out to practice, set your intention. This is my intention for this practice, and I'm going to do this over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until I get it right. And that's how you can start out your journey. The divine has got, listen, divine source has gotten you this far, and you're not pushing up daisies yet, so it can't be all that bad. Trust it and move ahead. I'm reminded of when I see the Fool card that the science fiction writer Isaac Asimov once wrote, the most exciting phrase to hear in science, the one that heralds new discoveries, is not Eureka, but that's funny. And I can attest to that, because if I had a nickel for every client who I've told something to that's accurate, things I couldn't possibly know, here's what they always say. Ready? It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that. It's funny. And I always respond with this. You know what is funny about this? You paid me $100. You paid me $100 for this reading for me to tell you stuff that your spirit already knew. Now that's funny. And they laugh and we joke together. I'll make some other kind of joke about it. And I got to do a video on how much to charge for your readings, you guys. I'm going through a whole thing about what to charge for my readings, and I'm in a quandary. And you guys email me all the time about, I don't know what to charge for this. I don't know what to do for this, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know. So we're going to figure it out together. But so I love that saying. And, when you take a look at the Fool card, when you arrive at the place you want to be, when you make it through your, I just love this card, when you make it through your hero's journey and you get there and you're looking around at all you've accomplished, your spirit knew it the whole time. Your soul was sending a download to your spirit in the physical. They knew you could do it. I knew you could do it. The spirit totem power in them knew you could do it. But it's so funny you did that. Anyway, so that's the 411 on on the Fool tarot card meetings in the Rider Waite deck. And now we're going to move on to Puffy Puff because one, listen, let's be honest. In the Alaskan regions, the puffin has the adorable name Auk. And some of their superstitions and some of their myths and legends say that the puffin controls the weather, which makes this an incredibly weather shaman. And so if you are looking to control the climate around you, is it raining? Is it thundering? And this, I know people that claim they can control the weather in the physical. I don't doubt that. I think we have absolutely no clue what we're capable of yet, what human performance and don't get me started on that. So weather shaman, if that resonates with you, but even if you're not thinking of it from a physical aspect, think about what is swirling around you right now. Is there a hurricane? Is there this? Is there that? And just you use Puffin's power to change that however you want. Now they're also called sea clowns. I've heard them called sea parrots because they're just, and they were voted the cutest animal on earth. So just know if Puffin's coming to you this morning, it may not be all that. It just may be a brand new day for your hair and makeup and your wardrobe. And you just may need to get out and go buy you some new Mac or, well, I think, I don't think Mac. Whatever's not tested on animals, that's what you need to buy. And, your clothes and have lunch out and get your toes and your nails did and all that kind of stuff. It may be just as simple as that because the weather may be inside of yourself. You may be having a storm inside of yourself and you want to clear that. Now, what's interesting is, to me, everything's interesting. I'm simple. So the puffin's beak changes color throughout the year. And it doesn't really get that bright orange until springtime, which is mating season. Shamanism, right? I'm all into the cyclical things, the directions, the seasons, the matching this. But when that beak turns that vibrant orange, and that it correlates with springtime, which is about rebirth, and then orange is the color of your sacral chakra, which is about your passion. I'm like Christopher Lloyd in Taxi. Because I don't know what else can be said. Figure out your passion. Stop making excuses. Get up on your precipice and spread your wings and step off, man. Do it. And if you happen to rescue a cute little white dog from a shelter, that even more is the better. Even it doesn't matter what color animal you rescue, but white dog is in the card. You get it. Okay. So the other thing is, puffins spend most of their life on water. They're birds, so they do have the air element behind them, and man, they can fly fast. They can fly like 50 miles an hour, but they're pretty awkward, on land. I mean, penguins go side to side, but they always seem to get their balance. But puffin, you just want to run after them because you just know one of them's going to fall down, and you want to dive in and catch them. So they're much better off on. They're much more comfortable on water, which of course brings up the emotional element, which of course goes back to passions, you see how all of this is dovetailing today, even back into the Sting song. I'm a triple Scorpio. I'm delivering this message to you today. That song is about, turn the clock to zero, honey. Turn the clock to zero, because here's what I can tell you. I'm 55. Yes, I claim it. I'm proud of it. There are a lot of people that didn't have the good, don't get me started. Y'all, there are a lot of people that didn't have the good fortune to make it to my age. You think I'm going to bitch about being 55? Man, I'm wearing that like a badge of honor. I may get some kind of sash and some kind of something to wear for the next video because I'm darn proud of that. Oh, yes, I am. And here I am with a YouTube channel. 55 and a YouTube channel. Are you kidding me? And you're crying about wanting to take baking classes? Take the baking classes. Cook some cupcakes for somebody. Charge them $5 for the cupcakes. Boom, you own a bakery. Make sure you check into all the city codes and whatnot. You don't want to get busted by code enforcement, but you see where I'm going with this, right? Okay. So that's a lot to pack into a Saturday. And the only other thing that I want to say is that, Puffin doesn't know they're clumsy. They just know that's how they are. They don't judge. We're the ones that do the judging. Stop judging yourself. Listen, I'm a weeble, y'all. Well, I really want to be a weeble. I lose my balance all the time. I've always been a klutz. That's why my mom made me take dance classes as a kid. That and I had this weird hip turnout thing, and that's what was recommended for physical therapy. And then I fell in love with dancing. Wasn't very good at it. Can you see me in a ballet class? It was like, oh God, what Disney movie is that where the hippo's in the tutu and pink point shoes? That was me, although not that graceful. Um, so stop judging. You're not too old. You're not too this. You're not too that. Lose it with the judgment. If you're a little clumsy here, you don't get this right here. Listen, y'all would get my newsletter. I know for darn skippy sure. You've seen all the times it's been like the Saturday newsletter or Saturday whatever reading, and it reads Friday. Or I think the one I saw this morning was yesterday. There were like four numbers in the day. I was like, yes, it's November, 1817, 2020. I just, you know what? I have to let that stuff go. I used to be OCD perfectionist, but I got other stuff to worry about, like my bare Native American flute that I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna learn to just let that music flow right through me. Oh yes, yes I am, and I highly recommend, because of today's card, today's animal, today's card. Turn the clock back to 0. Don't be a fuddy-duddy. You're starting off a brand new day. And as you go through your hero's journey and you get through your brand new day, you're just going to get what? You already stay wild, but you're going to get wilder and wilder and freer and freer. And the next thing you know, you're leading the life you want. Yes, you are. So, all right, you guys, love to everybody. So much shaman, bear, Native American, puffin, all the loves. And I love you like a fool. And stay wild.